Get ready for a River Rumble. Friday and Saturday, August 1st and 2nd, the Renegades of Dirt invade Legendary Hilltop and Ohio Valley Speedways for the Ohio River Shootout. Come witness the series' first race at both tracks as the best modified drivers in the region will duel for $1,500 to win each night. General admission tickets are just $15 and pit passes only $35. Be there for the Ohio River Shootout at Legendary Hilltop and Ohio Valley Speedways Friday and Saturday, August 1st and 2nd.
Hey there, race fans. Welcome to another edition of This Week in the Valley on OVDTR.com. I'm your host, Matt Noonan. Plenty to get to this week as we'll have an interview with driver Casey Burdette. We'll also preview all of the big races coming up this weekend, and there's quite a few of them. And of course, we'll also take a look at our weekly winners. But before we get into any of that, let's take a look back at highlights from the past week as the OVDTR cameras were in the house at Legendary Hilltop Speedway.
Butch McGill and Dan Morrison would lead the field to the green flag. McGill gets the advantage into turns 1 and 2. Morrison tries to battle back on the outside, but he jumps the cushion and scrapes the wall in the number 7 machine. Comes to a stop and brings out the first caution. We'd see a great battle for the number 2 position in the early going as Andy Bond makes a move to the inside in that number 53 machine. We'd see plenty of him throughout this race as he, off of a restart, would take a hard look to the inside of your leader McGill in turn number 1. But he could not make that pass stick and enter Chris Guards in that yellow and orange number 42 machine as he gets some momentum down on the inside down the front straightaway. Pulls up alongside of Bond, throws the slide job in turns 1 and 2, and Garnes would take over the runner-up spot of the race. But a few laps later, near disaster for your leaders as watch that red number 14, Eric Francis goes for a wild ride as the rear end of his car got completely up in the air. Fortunately, your top 3 able to get through without any serious damage. Take one more look at that as Francis as both rear wheels come up off the ground. Fortunately, that could have been a lot worse than it was. So back to the restart. Garnes takes a hard look to the inside of McGill in turns 1 and 2, but the veteran Butch McGill able to make it stick on the cushion, and he hangs on to the lead of the race. But Garnes would not go away as he would continue to hound McGill for the top spot, but slips in turns 3 and 4 with just a few laps remaining. Loses precious ground to your race leader, and that's all McGill would need as he is able to speed away and take the checkered flag in the late model A main on Friday night. In the modifieds, it really was the Casey Burdette show as he started from the pole in that white number 4 machine. Wastes no time jumping out to a lead, and he would quickly put a lot of real estate between himself and the rest of the field. As you see, it only takes a few laps to jump out to a half straightaway advantage, and Burdette would dominate on his way to taking the checkered flag. A big win for him and a lot of momentum heading into this weekend's big events. Jeremy Blake comes home in the number 2 position. Tyler Evans took a hard look for it, but he will finish in the 3rd spot.
Don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we'll have a word with modified and late model driver Casey Burdette, fresh off his win at Legendary Hilltop, and we'll preview all the big events coming up this week. That's next.
Get ready for a River Rumble. Friday and Saturday, August 1st and 2nd, the Renegades of Dirt invade Legendary Hilltop and Ohio Valley Speedways for the Ohio River Shootout. Come witness the series' first race at both tracks as the best modified drivers in the region will duel for $1,500 to win each night. General admission tickets are just $15 and pit passes only $35. Be there for the Ohio River Shootout at Legendary Hilltop and Ohio Valley Speedways Friday and Saturday, August 1st and 2nd.
Welcome back to This Week in the Valley. We're now joined by late model and modified driver Casey Burdette. Casey, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Well, you got to be feeling pretty good about yourself and the way this team is rolling after the big win last week at Legendary Hilltop. You'll be back there here again this weekend for the Renegade races. That along with Ohio Valley Speedway. I'm sure a lot of confidence heading into this one.
Yeah, it's definitely got the momentum going. I feel like I'm more pumped up than anybody just to have these races here in the area, especially with the momentum that we got going on with this modified. I'm pretty excited for it.
Well, as a guy who has won at both racetracks, in your mind, what are the keys to getting around both of them?
I don't really know if there is a key to one of them. They're all just like any other racetrack. They're pretty small tracks. The valley's pretty tight cornered. And we went to Tyler County for the Renegade deal for that jackpot race, and that was when I was pretty fresh in the modified, and I think we qualified fast time both nights. And then when the money was up for grabs, we had a motor go out. And I think we were going to give those guys a run for their money, and that was our first time there. So I'm kind of just hoping all the cards are on my table, and, this is my territory, so we'll just see what we can do with these guys.
We've seen you race in the late model class, but all this success jumping into the number 4 machine in the modifieds this year has really been impressive. From a guy who has driven both cars, in your mind, what are the big differences between the two?
Everyone said here, they pound around. Modifieds, harder to drive, they're a handful, blah, blah, blah. All I can tell them, if they're fighting a modified, they best go get a car off Lightning chassis, because these things are just like, they're the Cadillacs, the modifieds, I reckon. It's the closest thing I've ever had experience to a late model to drive. I know the first night I was a little bit sketchy in it, getting used to some stuff, just more used to the cockpit than anything, but other than that, I don't think it's really too big of a change.
Well, there's no question you're going to be one of the guys to watch this weekend. Earlier you mentioned the help you get on the car, obviously racing a team sport. I'm sure there's a lot of people you'd like to thank.
Yeah, more than anybody, I got to thank the guy right now, and it's his car, it's all his equipment. It's Jim Fordyce. I mean, if it wasn't for that guy, even though it's a modified, I mean, he keeps my late model wheels rolling for me. Also, he really keeps everything going, and it's so kind of him to give me that thing. I'm so thankful to wheel it. Why he just sits back and watches. That's a pretty awesome thing. And there's guys on the late model I got to thank too. Weekly Electric, Graham Excavating, Burdette Construction. There's just so many people. Doug Smith, the Schaefer Glow, Todd Fry, Hoosier Tire, High Valley, Brian Metz at Hosky's Performance Parts. If it wasn't for them guys, there's just no way I can keep this thing going. TJ Rayburn, really, great guy, far to none. These cars he builds, one of a kind. I know a lot of people think that he's off the bandwagon, this and that, but he's got to come back. Working with Bloomquist on the shock package and some stuff on the car has been, really an honor this year, a dream come true, and hopefully more bigger things that come here in the next year or so. Steve Schaefer, he's really helped with my setup program. Just all the guys' names that can help me. It's just phenomenal the help I've had this year, and that's what's really improved my team the most.
Absolutely. Well, KC, taking a look beyond this weekend, do you guys have any plans here for the rest of the year, or are you just going to kind of play it as it comes?
Well, me and Jim talked about it a little, but never really broke the ice if I'm going to keep driving the modified or not. And, I'm really hoping that deal sticks. The local stuff's great, but the money is just so tough to run, week to week on a local basis. And I'm hoping, we can roll some momentum out of these Renegade races and maybe do a little big modified racing and a little big late model racing. That's obviously the dream come true there.
Well, I'm sure a lot of fans would love to see you race in some of those big events, and we certainly wish you the best of luck in being able to accomplish that. And also want to thank you for your time this afternoon, and look forward to seeing you here this weekend at Legendary Hilltop and Ohio Valley Speedways.
Yes, sir. We're going to give them guys a run for their money, and I want to thank all the fans for backing us.
All right, that's KC Burdette, driver of the number 4 Modified, who's certainly going to be one of the big favorites coming up this weekend. Also, not a bad driver in the late model division as well. Well, coming up here on This Week in the Valley, we'll take a look at the weekly schedule, and there are no shortage of big events, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. It's next.
Ron's Auto Center in Chester Hill, Ohio is proud to support OVDTR.com. The next time your personal vehicle needs a pit stop, stop by Ron's for complete auto service. And when you're on your way to the races, stop in for a wide selection of deli meats, cheeses, pizza, subs, snacks, drinks, ice, and more. Ron's Auto Center, the one-stop shop for every race fan's needs, and a proud supporter of OVDTR.com.
Welcome back to This Week in the Valley. We just spoke with Casey Burdette ahead of the big Renegades of Dirt events going on this weekend, but there are plenty of other races on the schedule as well. We'll take a look at them right here on OVDTR's Weekly Schedule.
It all kicks off on Friday night. Elkins hosting the Fast Track Series for a $2,000 to win main event. Also $2,000 up for grabs when the NRA Sprint Invaders invade Lima Land Motorsports Park. It's the big opening race of the weekend for the Renegades of Dirt as they will visit Legendary Hilltop Speedway. $1,500 on the line in that one. Also a $1,500 to win late model special at Moeller. The Fast Series is in the house at Attica Raceway Park. A Fast Track Crate late model special at Beckley. 4 cylinders racing for $500 to win at I-77. And regular shows at 250, Jackson County, Muskingum County, Lernerville, and Raceway 7. Then on Saturday night, plenty more big races on the docket. The Jack Hewitt Classic pays $3,000 to win at Waynesfield. A $3,000 to win late model special at Pittsburgh. Modifieds also racing for $3,000 to win at Portsmouth. It's the UBB Memorial 29 for the Fast Track Series at Princeton Speedway. That event paying $2,900 to win. The Alm Series in the house at Oakshade Raceway paying $2,000. The Renegades of Dirt conclude their 2-night swing at Ohio Valley Speedway. That race pays $1,500 to win, and the OVDTR cameras will be in the house. Also a $1,500 to win modified special at Atomic. The Fast Series will continue over to Fremont Speedway. The Superstock Nationals occurring at Wayne County Speedway. The Bill Carrilla Memorial at Sharon, the Bill Sechrist Memorial at 35, and regular shows at Brush Creek, Deerfield, Hilltop, and Roaring Knob. And then a pair of Sunday specials also on the schedule. It's the Jim Dunn Memorial at Midway Speedway, $5,000 on the line in one of the Valley's classic races. And the Bud Weigel Memorial also going on at Tyler County Speedway on Sunday. That race pays $1,500 to win.
Well, plenty of events coming up this weekend. OVDTR will be on hand at the Renegades of Dirt events at both Legendary Hilltop and Ohio Valley Speedways. So if you're going to be in the house, stop on by and say hello. Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of This Week in the Valley. So for everybody involved at OVDTR.com, for Kyle Jones, I'm Matt Newton. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the races.